up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today's video is going to be on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and we're going to be talking about how their front office continues to play chess with the rest of the NBA, and we're going to jump right into the video. Now, looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers so far this season, they have a record of 33-21, and that's good enough for fourth place in the Eastern Conference. And, I think that right there in itself is so impressive, just given the fact that this team has shattered their expectations for this season. If we look at the Cavaliers, last season, nowhere near playoff contention. They got a draft lottery pick that turned into, Evan Mobley. And not even a year later, some months later, they're a perennial playoff team. And, barring anything catastrophic, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are locked for the playoffs this season. I think they're going to make it. And then not only that, what they've endured this season, losing a guy like Colin Sexton, losing a guy like, Ricky Rubio, Lauri Markkanen has been in and out of the lineup all season long. And then, health and safety protocols, those keep key players out for sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks at a time. And despite all of this young Cleveland Cavaliers team has still been able to remain a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. And I think you really just have to give a lot of props to Coach J.B. Bickerstaff, keeping his team ready on any given night with any lineup. And then you have to give props to the front office, because if you look at this team, man, most of these guys was drafted to this team. Isaac Okoro, Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and then Jared Allen, brought via trade. And, just getting a bunch of different players to, to make this good, this great team that play, great basketball together. And then just yesterday, the front office made another big move. They traded away Ricky Rubio and some draft picks for Caris LeVert. And, this was a big time trade for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we're going to be talking about how Caris LeVert is going to impact this team. Now, the front office knew that, they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. No matter what five they got out there, they're going to get after it on the front. They're going to get after it on the defensive side of the ball. And the one thing that the Cavaliers know, they know that they lost a lot of offense this season. They lost, Colin Sexton. This is a guy that's averaged 20 points per game for the Cleveland Cavaliers before. They lost Ricky Rubio, a guy that was out there, coming off the bench, being a secondary ball handler, getting guys in their right spot. They lost him for the rest of the season. And then, like I said, Lauri Markkanen been out. So really, the Cavaliers, they took a big hit on the offensive side of the ball, and they bring in a guy like Caris LeVert. And Caris LeVert is having a quiet year, averaging 18 points per game, which is really solid. And he's a guy that can really score the basketball. Caris LeVert is a legit, 3-point scorer. And not too long ago, he just went off for, 40-plus points. So the Cleveland Cavaliers is adding that to their team. And, Caris LeVert can shoot the 3-ball, can shoot the mid-range, and he can get to the rim. And finish with both hands. So, and not only that, Caris LeVert, if he has to, he can play off the ball. I think him and Darius Garland are gonna feed off each other very well. So that's that. Caris LeVert is going to add scoring to this team. And also, this trade does another thing for this team. So Ricky Rubio, and I know you guys love Ricky Rubio, and even I thought he was playing really well for the Cavaliers. That one game when he went off for 38 points. That was crazy. But, Ricky Rubio, his contract this year was, 1 year for $18 million. He was going to be out for the rest of the season. And basically after the trade deadline, he was going to be pretty much, his value for the Cleveland Cavaliers was going to go down to zero, because, they wasn't sure if he was going to re-sign or if he was going to, walk. So they had to make that impulsive decision of trading him away. And to me, I think it was the right move, because right now, Ricky Rubio is going to be last year in his contract making 18 million a year. I think Caris LeVert is only making 17.5 million a year. So they save 500,000. That's not much, but anyways, I think it was the right move. And not only that, the Cleveland Cavaliers, if the front office and Ricky Rubio can work something out, he can re-sign this summer. So I think it worked out well in terms of the Cleveland Cavaliers, winning or losing the trade. I think they won it. And so, another way that this trade, is going to, positively impact the Cavaliers. Bringing Karis LeVert in is going to do wonders for, Darius Garland. Since the Cavaliers have suffered all these injuries, we've really just been watching, Darius Garland and the Cavaliers grind these games out. And Darius Garland, seeing a lot of, and he's responded well to it, seeing a lot of more pressure, a lot of more double teams, a lot of more attention from the defense. And, bringing in Karis LeVert, that's going to alleviate that, it's going to alleviate that pressure off Darius Garland. So, we can expect to see Darius Garland see a lot less double teams, a lot less traps, because he has another guy out on the court with him that you have to respect his game. You have to show that same type of respect and attention to Karis LeVert, because he's a great scorer. So really happy. The Cavaliers should be really happy that Darius Garland is going to have somebody that he can kind of swing the ball to. And I know Isaac Okoro, I love him, love the way he's developing, but his offensive game, it isn't there yet. And I think it's going to be there one day, because I see flashes of it. He's a great driver of the basketball. I like his jump shot form. It's just a matter of time if how long and how quick can he put it together. So, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they got something brewing here. And the last way that this trade was really impactful, that the Cavaliers was able to bring in another scorer, another perimeter wing player that can score the basketball without having to give up any of their core pieces. They still have Jared Allen, they still have Evan Mobley, they still have Darius Garland, and they still have Isaac Okoro, Lamar Stevens, all these guys. And to be honest, the Cavaliers have one of the best young cores in the NBA, because I think Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, they're going to be all-stars for years to come. And I think the oldest out of those guys is Jared Allen, and he's like 22 or 23 years of age. So that's really scary. And adding Karis LeVert to the team, that's not going to turn the Cleveland Cavaliers into a championship team. But what it did turn them into is a playoff team that can win a series or two. And that's when you get young guys getting playoff experience this early and learning how to win in the playoffs, when they get into their primes, when they get 26, 27, 28 years of age, the playoffs is going to be so normal and so easy for them, and it's going to be dangerous. So, I think this was a great trade. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers, I think they're about to turn it up a notch, and they're going to be, they're going to be a tough outing in the playoffs. And this is really good for them. And I think the player is going to affect the most is Darius Garland, because now he kind of has some help. So really good trade. And that's going to be it for this video, man. If you enjoyed, leave a like. Comment down below if you think this was the right trade for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and just subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man. And that's curtains.